South Korea needs more babies and workers. Each hopping foreign housekeepers will fix that. South Korea wants couples to have more children as the country faces the demographic crisis. So South Korea CNN, as South Korea struggles to get young people interested in marriage and kids, authorities are trying to new tech, importing foreign workers to carry some of the household burden. The government on Friday announced a pilot program allowing 100 foreign domestic helpers to start working in the capital Seoul would begin as early as December. The plan will expand the number of industries and companies eligible to employ foreign workers as South Korea faces an aging population, shrinking workplace, and labor shortages in various sectors. The pilot program will prioritize sending foreign domestic workers to dual income married couples in their 20s to 40s, single parent household, and multi child families, as these groups have the highest demand for help with housework. The program aims to ease the burden of housework and child care, said the Prime Minister's office in the news release. Foreign housekeepers will need to be at least 24 years old and will undergo background checks, including a review of any criminal or drug related records. The release said the authorities will also evaluate migrant work experience, knowledge, and language proficiency skills. They will be placed in Korean households through credible agencies which will monitor the program's success through each 6 month run, the news release said. The burden of child care and housework has long been cited as the factor in South Korea's falling marriage and birth rate, as well as the rising cost of living and the growing reluctance among educated women to put their careers on hold. A government report earlier this week found that among residents ages 19 to 34, more than half said they didn't see the need to have a child even after marriage, and only 36.4% of respondents said they had a positive perception of marriage, citing common factors like economic difficulties. But this trend has only accelerated the country's population crisis as the pool of working age people shrinks, adding to existing economic headaches. South Korea has long struggled with the chronic labor shortages in the manufacturing and the agricultural sectors, Reuters reported. In an effort to address the shortage, the government even proposed raising the each cap on working hours to 69 per hour week, up 69 per week, up from the limit of 52, until a backlash among young workers forced them to walk back the plan. Some politicians have previously argued the government to import the foreign workers to help alleviate the burdens on young couples and parents. Last year, Seoul's mayor proposed such a scheme in a government cabinet meeting, declaring in the Facebook post that the country was seeing the warning light of population extinction, going beyond the population decline. He pointed to other major Asian hubs such as Hong Kong and Singapore, where migrant workers and housekeepers are essential part of the social and economic fabric. In these places, women's participation in economic activities has shown a clear uptrend, he wrote. It did not overturn the long-term low fertility rate trend, but the downtrend in birth rate has slowed down compared to South Korea. Though there are local Korean housekeepers and childcare workers, the number of the workers is steadily declining and growing older, with the vast majority over 50 years old. The Ministry of Employment and the Labor said in July. Under current rules, South Korea only permits foreign nationals on specific visas to work in housekeeping or childcare, such as long-term resident, marriage migrants, and ethnic Koreans coming from overseas. This new pilot program aims to open up that work to E9 visa holders, foreign workers in non-professional jobs, at any one what cost. But the cost of such a program and how much to pay workers has only still the debate. Housekeepers who lived outside their employer's home and commute to work are paid more than 15,000 Korean won, $11.4 an hour, while those living in their employers' homes are paid up to 4.5 million won per month, about $3,415, according to the Labor Ministry, which are more than many young couples or professionals can afford. The average monthly income of the four-person household is about 5.04 million won, about $3,827, said one member of the government advisory group comprised of parents at a July 31st public forum held by the Labor Ministry. Even for me, 2 million won, $1,518 is an extremely burdensome amount. The government's 6 month pilot program means employers will likely be able to pay a lower rate than the current market rate for housekeeping jobs through cooperation with the Seoul Metropolitan Government and the relevant agencies, according to the news release. The government plans to use the system that matches workers at the times of day with the highest demand by allowing part-time work as an option. It added, similar pay discrepancies are seen in Hong Kong, where foreign domestic workers, mostly hailing from the Philippines and Indonesia, are paid a lower minimum wage than the rest of the workplace. They earn the minimum of 4,730 Hong Kong dollars, about $600 per month, in what is consistently ranked of the world's most expensive cities. Hong Kong authorities and some observers have argued that foreign domestic workers are legally required to live with their employers, thus saving them rent, and that raising their salary will prevent many couples and working parents from hiring them at all. But activists and community workers argue the system is in dire need of reform. The live-in rule can trap vulnerable migrant workers, nearly all women, with abusive employers. There is no cap on their maximum working hours, and the immigration laws means many are afraid to speak out or leave their employers for fear of being deported. Singapore's migrant worker system is just as controversial for employing cheap foreign labor to sustain one of the world's richest countries. These workers are often do difficult and dangerous jobs without minimum wage, toiling outdoors for long hours, sometimes in extreme weather, and they are not allowed to enter most air-conditioned public spaces like shopping malls because of the rules set by landlords and tenants. It's unclear what, if any, labor protections will be included in the South Korean plan. The government news release includes no details on the workers' specific pay, their maximum working hours, overtime policy, or their leave allowance and weekly days off. At the government's July 31st forum, one attendee was pictured holding a sign that read, "I condemn the Minister of Employment and Labor for passing on housekeeping labor to another low-wage female workers."